All right, so this is video number 2, solving literal equations. All right, the goal is to isolate the variable in question or to get that variable on one side of the equal sign all by itself and everything else on the other side. All right, so our first example says P equals 2L plus 2W. Solve for L. Hopefully you recognize this as this is the perimeter of a rectangle. Twice the length plus twice the width equals the perimeter. All right, so the first question you need to ask yourself is, which side of the equal sign is the variable in question that I am solving for on? Okay, so right now, I'm looking for L. Well, L is right there in my equation, so L is on the right side. The second question is, what else is also on that side that you need to move? Well, there's going to be two things. We got this 2W, and we're going to have to deal with that too. So let me rewrite this down here. We have P equals 2L plus 2W. So the first thing I need to move is that 2W. So I ask myself, how do I move 2W to the other side? Well, just like before, the rules still apply. To move something to the other side, and that's okay, have that. You're going to have your minus 2W minus 2W. Well, now here's where it may look different to you, because you simply have P minus 2W. You cannot combine them because they are not like terms, and you can't do anything other than just have P minus 2W, because you do not know at this time what the value of P is or what the value of W is. Well, last step is exactly the same as what we've done before. Again, now we just have variables. So we're going to divide both sides by a 2. And we'll end up with an L on the right side. And we'll end up with P minus 2W all divided by 2 as our final answer. And that's it. That is, now we have solved this equation for L. So we've just basically rearranged the equation. That's all that we have done. All right, the next formula that they gave us was A equals 1/2 base times height, solve for H. Okay, you might recognize this as the area of a triangle. May not have rung a bell there because you haven't done that one as much, but that's what this formula is. So here in this case, the deal is we don't know what the height is, but we know what the area is and we know what the base is. And you'll be definitely doing this, especially in geometry. All right, so we've got to rearrange this so we can figure out what the height is. So again, first question, which side of the equation is the variable in question on? So we're looking for this H. Well, H is on the right side. Second question, is there anything else attached to it or on the same side? Yes, there sure is. We have a 1/2 and we have a B. We want to get rid of that. Third question, how can we move those to the opposite side? So we have our options here. We can either, so we have 1/2 base times height. We can either divide A by the B and multiply by 2, or we can multiply A by 2 and divide by the letter B. Either way is going to be fine. So again, I'm going for that. So I think I'm going to divide both sides by B first, okay? So then I get simply A divided by B is equal to 1/2 of H. All right, so right now I'm saying if I divided H by 2, I would get that. Well, to move that 1/2 to the other side, I need to multiply by 2 over 1. Sorry, I scrunched that in there, or 2. So either by 2 over 1 or by a big 2. When I do that, these cancel, which is why I'm left with an H is equal to 2 times A over B. Okay? A little bit different, but you're just working through these steps, working through the same steps. Now you're just dealing with more variables. So by now, you're probably asking yourself, why is this an important skill? Why am I having to do this? I'm never going to do this. Well, when doing house projects, or if you would work construction, many times you know the area of a room, but you do not know how much paint or other product you need for that room. This is the why, because it's not just if you work construction, it is if you live in a house and you are painting a room, You need to know how to do this exact type of math to make sure you don't overbuy. All right, now these next 3 examples, we're going to be doing a lot in Algebra 1 this year. So we want you to have some good practice starting even now. So here you're going to see 3x plus 2y equals 6 in this problem. Solve for y. And we're always going to be solving for y when we see an x and a y in a problem, because these are linear. These are going to form a line when we graph them. Okay? So again, you still ask yourself the questions. Number 1, which side of the equal sign, is the variable? It's on the left. What else is on that same side? That 3x. How can I move it to the other side? Well, I'm going to subtract it off. So, and I know I went by that quicker, but here we go. We have 3x plus 2y is equal to 6. So I'm solving for 2y. I'm going to move this 3x to the other side of the equation, which gives me 2y is equal to negative 3x plus 6. Then I am going to divide everything by 2. And notice I said everything by 2. Not just, and here I am going to go ahead and separate it, just trying to get into that practice. So now I end up with a y equals negative 3 over 2x, or negative 3x over 2, plus, go ahead and simplify this because you can, plus 3. Okay? We're going to do 2 more examples like this one. Sometimes they have us with fractions, sometimes they don't. All right, so now the problem says 4x plus 2y equals 12. Solve for y. So we have 4x plus 2y is equal to 12. So again, ask yourself question number 1, which side of the equal sign is the variable? It's on the left. Is there anything else on that same side that I need to move? Yes, there's a 4x and a 2 attached to that y. And then how do I move that stuff? Well, again, draw your bar there if you need it. I'm going to subtract 4x to move it to the other side. Because again, I'm just simply saying, nope, let's move it over here. And then I'm left with a 2y is equal to a negative 4x plus 12. Life is good there. Now, again, just like before, back in the day when you had 2 times the variable is equal to a number, I need to divide everything by a 2. Everything gets divided by a 2. So then I am left with y is equal to, well, what is negative 4 divided by 2? Negative 2x. And what is 12 divided by 2? 6. There is your final equation, because that's what you're doing here. One last example. We have 9x plus 3y equals 12. We are solving for y. So, here we go. I'm going to rewrite it. 9x plus 3y is equal to 12. Ask yourself the first question. Which side of the equal sign is the variable on? Well, it's on the left. Second question, is there anything else on that side that I need to move? Yep, that 9x and eventually that 3. So, okay. Third question, how do I do that? Again, to move the 9x, I'm simply subtracting it to both sides because I just need to move it. That's all I need to do. I don't want it on that side anymore. And again, what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So I get 3y is equal to negative 9x plus 12. Then I want to get that y all by itself, so I'm going to divide everything by 3. That looks ugly, so I'm going to clean it up. Negative 9 divided by 3 is a negative 3x. 12 divided by 3 is a 4. There is my final equation in pretty form. I have now solved it for y. Good job.